From the world of AV programming and control with James King, I'm Steve Greenblatt, and this is Ask the Programmer. James, it's great to be back with you, and I'm looking forward to a pretty lively conversation about a trending topic today.
Oh, I look forward to this, Steve. As always, it's great to be here with you talking about programming and our vertical here with the industry and having our listeners listen to us.
Absolutely. What we're trying to do, if it's not already known, is not only touch on the things that we feel are important and are foundational, but we also look at what are some of the trends, what are some of the buzzwords, what are the things that programmers and those who care about control and programming want to know more about. And in episode 110, we had talked with Kate Atkins about what she was looking forward to in InfoComm, and she mentioned to us about AI, and I think that that's a great topic. So, James, you had recommended that we touch on this, and it's certainly something that's become a buzzword with ChatGPT, and it almost seems like the world is talking about AI, and it's not a new thing. And just to define AI, artificial intelligence, but it's something that's been around for a long time, but it seems like it's become a lot more tangible and mainstream just in the past few months. So, um, where do you think that is going to come into play in this industry, and what do programmers need to know about it?
Where it's going to play every single aspect that we can think of. I think AI is going to be incorporated in any and all aspect of our vertical in our daily lives. What our programmers need to know about it is we can't be scared of it. It's a tool. When it comes down to it, it's really just a tool. And if we don't use it as a tool, that's when it becomes dangerous.
Yeah, and I definitely would agree with you there, and I think that there's kind of two schools of thought too. There's those that look at AI as making things smarter, making things more predictable, making systems have um, more interaction without having to be hands-on. Um, but then there's the others that look at, well, how do we use AI to make system implementation and the work that we do so much easier, and what is that going to mean to people that are in the programming role? Because frankly, with um, certain ways of being able to use AI, you could have code written for you and so forth. So it's two different things that we have to touch on, and we'll tag both of those. But first off, systems that are going to be more intelligent. I know that in certain areas, in certain markets, that could be a really great thing because you walk into a room and it does everything for you. But I know, at least in your world in higher ed, that may not be the best thing.
So yes, there's always that talk of having the room set up for who walks in, and everything is turned on, ready to go for that user. Is definitely, it's a pipe dream, because I say that as a pipe dream is because there's a lot of variables and nuances to take into that. We talk about these as humans are predictable, but humans are not predictable. So even if I come in and say 90% of the time I'm using the classroom to do a PowerPoint presentation, because 99% of the time that's what our classrooms are being used for. And the system does that. I walk in and it does that. Well, that 1% time that I don't want it, is there a way I can kill that? Like, not have that happen? Or am I frustrated because now the computer is telling me what I want to do, and it's not what I want to do, even though 99% of the time it is what I want to do. Uh, so that's why I'm not a huge fan for that predictability, because when you try to only use predictability without giving the control to the user, then it's like, well, why are you telling me what I want to do? Just like, like we sit there and yell at our home devices, the smart devices, and it's like, oh, you tell it to set an alarm and it set a timer. Well, you stupid machine, that's not what I wanted. Like, so there's a lot of things that concerns me there.
Yeah, I know we've talked about on the show, and I've talked about it on other shows, and with clients and so forth. There's a difference between control and automation, and there needs to be a balance. You need to have a certain amount of override, as you mentioned. You need to be able to make adjustments. You need to be able to have backup controls. And automation is good, but like you said, that time when you don't want it to be automated, you don't want it to frustrate you, or you don't want to have to fight against it. And you know, AI is a little bit smarter than automation, because automation typically is fixed and the same every time, whereas AI in theory should be able to adapt and change. But like you said, it's still not a human, and humans might have preferences. You might have might be in a different situation. Even if it comes down to lowering the shades and dimming the lights when you turn on a display, it could be that it's not as bright outside that day, or it's too bright, or whatever that might be. So there's a lot of factors that come into play there. So I agree with you.
I mean, just taking that into account, talking about the shades and this dawned me now. It's like, yeah, we can set up rules and variables that say, hey, if the sun's here, put these shades down. Great. It's awesome. It can save energy efficient, it can help out all that stuff. But those motors make noise. What if you're in the middle of recording something and the shades automatically come down? Now you got that noise added to it because the user didn't want that shade down. Or going with that, say you had an event going on and you're filming it and you did your white balances because the windows were open, and now the shades came down and killed your white balance because the lighting is different. So yeah, that all that stuff is great till until it's not.
I think that one of the things, and again, I'm not an expert with AI, but I can only imagine, it doesn't have emotion, and it can't give you that same type of personal touch. That's the one thing that humans have over a machine, is that it can be very good and very smart, but it doesn't have that same sensitivity, I don't think, at least, that a human can provide.
So I actually said that on the AV Life. We got talking about AI and all that stuff, and throw his name out there, Joe Way. He asked AI to create him a picture of killing grandma because on the AV Life we always had that running gag. We're killing grandma, and it provided him a picture of a sad looking old lady, and he's like, "Look, the computer knew it was sad. It knew that it felt that this was a sad image." And my response was, no, the computer did not feel sad. It knew that people found this image being sad, but it's not sad. It has no emotion. To me, AI is like a psychopath. A psychopath can understand that other people have emotion, but they don't have any emotion. They don't feel the sadness. They don't feel that. Same with AI. It's say, okay, yeah, well, 99% of people found this image to be sad. To them, it means nothing. And that's where it's getting its data from. It's getting its data from people. And the problem is people are unpredictable. People like to play around with things. People like to cause problems. For example, like ChatGPT right now, which is a nice thing. You can sit there and ask it, be like, who is the first president of the United States? And it's gonna should come back, say George Washington. And then you can sit there and like it and say, yeah, you're right. Or you can sit there and go, no, you're wrong. Steve Greenblatt was the first president. And it's gonna go, oh, okay. Steve Greenblatt, I'm gonna add that to my, and then now it's someone else goes and asks for it, and they'll be like, well, no, Steve Greenblatt's the first president. Like, really? Like now we're hence why I go back to it's a tool. We gotta know how to use the tool.
Yeah, I think that's very, very well said. And one of the things that we can look at is, what are some ways that we could use it to make what we do more effective without replacing without looking at it as replacing people. So can we simplify, or can we make processes more efficient, or can we cut down on time that it takes to figure something out, or can we be able to produce more in this with the same amount of effort, and kind of, which kind of rolls into, the part B that I was saying here, is that there are some people that are saying that it's going to replace certain jobs, and it probably will, and to some extent. Is there anything that you think, those in our industry need to be afraid of?
Need to be afraid of? Only way you need to be afraid of it is if you're not gonna adapt. Like we have talked about with learning different programming languages, if you are only steady fast on the one program, that language, using COBOL as an example, and when it becomes a dead language, what happens to you? Same thing with here with AI is if you're not going to adapt to it and use it as a tool and learn to use it, yes, you will potentially be replaced by it. Think about it when with power tools and all this stuff. Like, yeah, the hand tools did the job too, but now when the power tools came out, it made it quicker, it made it more efficient, and those folks who didn't learn how to use power tools correctly, they got hurt or they got left behind. Same with AI. Yes, we can sit there and ask AI to write code for us. But that goes to the thing is if we don't know how to write that code, how do we know that what AI gave us was actually accurate and that's actually going to do what we want it to do? Um, and it opens up another job. Like I've already heard this term. I think AV Week, they were actually talking about it, is what was the language used? It was a phrase coordinator or something like that. But basically, how the new job would be how to actually phrase your question for AI.
Yeah, I'll help you with that one, because we talked about this, and I'll put a little plug in for a State of Control, which is the podcast that I do at AV Nation. We talked about the prompt engineer, and in fact, Kate Atkins was on that show, and that's so that's where we talked about it. So take a look
Yep.
out for a State of Control, and I will say it's the April episode, but of 2023. I just don't know the number off the top of my head. But yeah, that you have to
Yeah.
know how to ask the right questions in the way that makes the tool most effective.
100%. And I do apologize, Kate. And now that Steve mentioned this, yes, that's where I heard it. I listen to so many podcasts. I actually saw it was on AV Week. I remember it was Kate now and on the State of Control. Thank you, Steve.
No problem. Hey, anytime you want to put a plug in for State of Control, go for it.
Oh yeah, great show.
But you're right, and about that, and one of the other areas that I can think of is troubleshooting. When something works, it's great, and we've talked about this too. But when it doesn't, then how do you fix it? And if you don't know what is right and what is wrong, um, you're only going to get exposed if you are relying on a tool and don't actually understand what it's doing for you.
100% there. It's just like if I sit there and use a hammer, and I'm trying to hammer a nail, and but I'm using the claw side of the hammer, is that the fault of the tool? No, it's the fault of the person using the tool.
You get
Maybe it will get
great
the
analogies
job
today.
done, but yes, maybe it's get the job done, but most likely it won't, and it won't be efficient.
I like that. So I guess as we wrap this one up, I don't think that this is a conversation that's going to go away. I think that there's going to be a lot of talk about it, and there's probably going to be a lot more people that are going to be um, pro AI. There's going to be skeptics of AI. There's going to be a lot of more products that I think include AI and that are easier to implement and set up, taking some of the programming out of the mix. Um, and I'm sure that there's probably even more that we're going to see that we haven't yet, maybe even doing support through AI. Um, what benefit do you think ultimately will programmers find when we act like what's maybe one of the first ones that we'll find will be most valuable?
Actually, incorporating AI into our programs to make things for our users. That's where I feel AI is going to be the first in put in for us programmers, is us using it to incorporate it into our systems, not using it to write code, but incorporating it somehow into our systems and our code.
So being able to maybe do calls to AI to get information for things, or that and I think another way too, just kind of piggybacking on that, is when there's been discussions about having your custom database for AI, and I think that that could also be valuable if somebody were to put together libraries of code, or being able to quickly reference work that you've done that works, being able to pull that in and just create systems a lot quicker based on something that's been proven because it's something that you've done yourself. I think there
Yeah.
could be value there too.
Oh, 100% agree with that.
But I'm excited though to see if we can make our systems smarter, because we've talked about it for a long time, and and I know that there's ways to argue it either way, but being able to have that scenario that marketing and sales have pitched for forever, being knowing who's in the room and how to customize the experience. It'd be neat if we can take more steps toward that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the first way we do that is humans need to become less unpredictable. I don't think that'll happen.
That's a good way to wrap that one. And let's if you uh audience listeners, hope that you like this show, and if you have some thoughts, agree with what we're saying, disagree, want to chime in, please do. Please let us know what you think. This is a great topic for debate and a good one for us to be exploring moving forward, because it's certainly not going to go away. James, if people want to connect with you and continue this conversation, how can they do that?
Oh, it's easy. You can Google me. I'm out there on the socials, AV_James King for Twitter. I'm on Infocom once in a while here and there. I know this will be coming out a little bit before Infocom. So if you're at Infocom, swing by booth 4489. That's a HEPMA booth. And we're a 20x20 booth. Come hang out with us.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't believe the all the swag that I've been seeing from Hetmas. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff. If everybody thinks that they were everywhere prior, I think they're taking it up a level.
We're way we're saying is people are either going to love us or people are going to hate us.
For me, you can reach me at Steve Greenblatt on social media. You can check out my company, Control Concepts, at controlconcepts.net. Looking forward to having a Infocom presence as well. So please look for us there. And we want to connect with listeners. We're going to have stickers to give out. We're going to be doing um, all that we can to spread the word and meet people that we have not yet met before, as well as see people that we haven't seen in a while. So looking forward to doing all those things, and also sharing our experiences on social media and other avenues. But please continue to listen and watch us on YouTube and Apple and Google Podcasts. Share your favorite episode. Let us know what you think, and we want to continue to get this podcast out to more people and also feature more people on the show. So we look forward to hearing from you and reaching out. And with that, this has been Ask the Programmer.